Hello, everyone, and welcome back again. Today, we are excited that we can have you here. Well, today again is another opportunity that we get to talk on a very important topic that which we believe is very important for all of us as we continue to move on. So today, our focus will be on effective pricing. Like the last time we spoke on cost calculation, which is very important. We spoke on content creation. Now we want us to put our attention to how you can effectively price your product or price your service or services so that you continue to stay in the market, you continue to stay in the competition as you move on. So effective pricing is basically about how you can arrive at the perfect price for your product or your commodity, taking into consideration all of the cost that was attached, taking into consideration every other thing that you've done to arrive at having a product to now decide the kind of price to label on the product that in the end you'll be able to generate profit. In the end, you'll be able to meet up with your sales goal and so forth. So there are advantages of effective pricing. But firstly, before we go to the advantages, let's look at how you can effectively price your product. What are things to consider? Before you come up with the price of a particular product of which you are selling, you need to firstly take into consideration some of the previous things we have talked about that has to do with your environment, where you stay, the income level of people in that environment, the level of competition within that particular environment, the prices offered by other people who sell the same product or provide the same services within that environment. If you consider all of these things, then you are now informed and can be able to effectively price your product according to the price that will be able to generate you profit in the end of your business activities. Because the sole aim of doing a particular business is to be able to generate profit at the end of the day, not doing a business and ending in loss where you have to look for other funding source to be able to fund the business. So now we go to the advantages of effective pricing. There are several advantages when you practice effective pricing. One, you avoid running into loss, because if you properly calculate the cost of your business like we discussed prior to this video, you will come to the understanding of knowing exactly what it costs you to have that product. There are mathematics in the background, but we want to focus on the practical aspect. You get to know what each of that product cost by calculating all the costs associated with that product and dividing it by the total number of product. You get to know how much each of that product costs. With that information, you can now decide to what the exact price when you are selling that product will be or that service will be. In that, at the end of the day, you will also be able to arrive at profit. But mind you, you are also careful not to price the product in such a way that it will stay long on your shelf, or price the service in such a way that you will not have people coming to procure the service or coming to ask for the service because of maybe the price bracket. Because remember, whatever you do, whether you are selling products or whether you are also providing services, you are not the only person in that particular business. There are several other people. So you have to be aware of the competition and also make sure that you stay in the competition, because every decision that might possibly cause you to be out of the competition will favor another person who is within that competition. So you try to balance that idea of not trying to overprice your product and also not trying to underprice your product, so that in the end you will be where you are to be as a business by your business performance. That's one advantage of proper pricing. Another advantage of proper pricing is it also helps you as a business person. When you properly price your product, you are able to assess the performances of your business within your given competition. In that, you can also be informed of the next decision to make or how to go about your business activities so that you don't stay out of the competition or you don't stay within the competition but also arrive at loss because maybe your product is staying up to expiration period or your service is not moving forth and you have to pay other indirect costs like we discussed the last time on cost. So that is it. Also, there are a lot of disadvantages associated with effective pricing if they are not done properly. And maybe we'll just talk about a few and the rest of them are clear. And these are practical things. That's the most interesting part. These are practical things that if today you start to do a business, you obviously arrive at these things. If you don't do the right thing, the wrong ones will come after you. If you don't do the right things, the wrong one will eventually show up. One big disadvantage of not practicing effective pricing for your product is that firstly, you will be out of the competition. Like I said earlier, whatever business you think you are doing, there is somebody else who is doing that same business within your environment or just nearby. So if you are not careful how you price, that person will outsmart you, and people who should be your potential customer will come and leave you and go and patronize that person who is maybe a bit distant away from you because they feel that that person have a reasonable price for their product. 1. 2, if you don't practice effective pricing, you might also lead to running your business on loss without even being aware. Because if you underprice your products, in the end, after all your sale, you notice that your cost will be more than the revenue you generated or the income that have been generated, and in that you will be running into loss. So even not just loss from the financial end, you have financial loss, you also have loss in other areas because your time and efforts that was invested into the business should have been rewarded through profit. But since now you don't have a profit, that time, that effort, that strategy, everything is part of all the things you lost. So these are things you need to take into consideration so that in the end you don't overdo or underdo what you are to do as a business person. You need to be very smart with everything you do as you do a business because we already don't have the perfect kind of environment that help us to grow our business fast. So if we are to do business, we need to be well equipped with this kind of informations and even be able to practicalize these things. That's the only way we can become a successful business person and be able to scale our business from one stage to the next stage, because our sole purpose of having a business is to make profit and to be able to grow the business from one stage to the other, that the business can be able to cater to its own needs and cater to our needs as owners of the business. So if that is our goal, then we need to subscribe to this channel. We need to keep following this channel. We need to keep inviting others so that this idea can go across, so that we can become innovative, we can become more productive in our businesses, in our activities, financial activities, so that in the end we can scale up to a better and more fortunate financial position. Thank you very much for following us, and thank you.